Well, hello and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Linda Coblin and I'm a mindfulness-based wellness coach. And in today's video, I wanted to share with you how I manage anxiety when it shows up in my life. And this is really, really important because it's been a huge game changer in my life to learn how to be with anxiety and fear when it shows up, so that it's not taking over my life and stopping me from moving forward in what scares me, but instead I can relate to it in such a way that I can lessen the fear experience and really choose to walk with the anxiety and take it with me as I move forward in my life. So shifting my relationship with it, and I really hope to share this with you today. So when I talk about this fear, anxiety, dread, I'm talking about those symptoms of, butterflies in the tummy, a constricted body, a tightening as I'm bracing myself for what scares me, moving forward. My mind can get flooded with planning, with trying to figure out every detail of how I'm going to manage the outcome of this situation that's scaring me. And I find for me the trigger, and you can, as you follow along, think about what triggers you into this anxiety, fear, dread response. I know for me, it's very related to performance. I tend to get really worried and get really high expectations of myself when I know something's coming up that I have to and I want to do well in. But it can be the simplest thing, like it could be a project that either I chose for myself or maybe somebody's expecting from me. It could be a conversation or a communication that I know I'm going to have with somebody. Or maybe I just get wound up trying to taking on like other people's issues and thinking I have to fix things for them. And it really gets tied up with this sense of controlling things. Like I see that as a person who tends to people please or want to people please, I want to control the outcome of things. I want to show up really, really like I got it together. So it's this concern for performance that really gets me wound up. And what I want to share with you is how we can manage this predicament of we have a trigger and now we've got this response of fear, dread, anxiety. So the 3 steps I want to share with you in managing this experience, which if we're in it, it's kind of like now it's got control of us. But really, we want to shift our relationship with it so that we can walk forward with more and more confidence and with more and more feeling like, we have a handle on this, as scary as it is. So the first step is really, and an important point here is, this is the hard work of shifting how we think and feel. This just doesn't happen on its own. This is a choice we make that we're going to change our relationship to fear and anxiety. And the first step is to really see this as an automatic habit that we have learned and that we have been practicing up until now in our life. So this is what we call one of these auto habits that we have. And we do it. If we're not thinking, we're just doing it automatically. We're getting triggered, we're becoming fearful, and then whatever plays out after that, whether we run away or, panic or whether we move forward with it. So it's really important to stay present if you can. And this is small steps, is when you find yourself in anxiety and fear, is to allow yourself room to just feel this instead of pushing it away. Because resisting and pushing away our experience, you'll notice, makes it worse. It makes it more intense. But if we can allow ourselves to simply let it be here so that we can start to observe, what is it that we're thinking? What was the trigger that started this? What are the sensations in our body? And really allowing ourselves to experience it. And bringing a real sense of kindness, getting on our own side through this process, because we want to help ourselves to relate to this experience and to lessen the intensity. And we do this by seeing it as not so much who we are, but just how we have learned to be with it over time. It's just a habit, and habits can be changed. So first step is just really allowing it to be here, allowing ourselves really with kindness to be in this space of anxiety, dread, fear over whatever it is that triggered it. And the second step is trust. With a lot of self-talk, we're going to remind ourselves while we're in the grips of this experience to breathe and to allow ourselves to let go of the control we have to have around it. Because really what we are when we're in fear is we're trying to control things, right? Because again, in that fear of letting people down or rejection or wanting to please, we want to control the pieces and the outcome. So we're in this control mode. And when we're in control, when we're trying to control, we're becoming really narrow. And we're limiting ourselves in how we can work through this experience we're having. So we want to remind ourselves to literally open our bodies and say to ourselves, I can allow this experience to unfold. How interesting it would be to allow it to unfold instead of to controlling or thinking we control how it unfolds. And know that, we're not in this alone. Other people are usually involved in any situation that's coming forward, and we can allow them to be a part of this. So a real sense of opening, allowing things to unfold, trusting in ourselves that we can be with this experience, almost with an excitement or a real curiosity about who we can be and what this can be if we see it through to its conclusion. Okay, so that's step 2 is a learning to trust. And this is a self-talk. We have to talk ourselves through this, right? Oh, right, I'm tightening, I'm controlling. Let's allow, let go. And, a real opening in the body and a breathing. And the third step I like to remind myself is one step at a time, small steps, as I'm allowing myself to learn to relate to anxiety, dread, and fear in a new way, in a way of openness and trust in myself that I can work through this and be a different person through this process. So real small steps and a real understanding that, we're not getting rid of anxiety or fear. It's always going to be with us. But what we can learn is to relate to it differently. And as we learn to relate to it differently with these small steps, what happens is, and you'll see this, that the anxiety and fear, it shows up with a little less intensity over time. Soon it's not like a big, overwhelming experience. It's almost like you start to feel little suggestions of it in your belly or in your heart racing. It doesn't blow up, but it's just, there's little reminders of anxiety and fear is there. It's like little, I like to think of like little poking and prodding of really subtly in your body that you notice, oh, fear's here. But you notice it really lightly as you work with this over time. The other thing is it doesn't last as long. Fear shows up, but instead of it being heavy and pervasive and taking over, it tends to just show up and then it settles and it tends to disappear in shorter and shorter periods of time. And the other thing is you learn that you've now got a way of relating with it. So it's kind of like it's not an enemy anymore. It's this familiar message from your body that you can go, hello, okay, I'm working with fear. And you start to use your skills in allowing it, seeing what it's telling you, you're afraid of, and you start working with it and really having this relationship to it. And this is what the most exciting thing about being willing to see it and allow it is you now have a relationship with it. It's not this unknown, fearful thing that you have no control over anymore. So I want to really leave you with a knowledge that you too can, with acceptance and a real kindness to yourself, and using these steps of knowing, one, that it's just an automatic habit of a trigger and response, that you can now start to look at it, open to it. Trust in yourself that you can allow it to things to happen on their own. You can trust that you will be there to work with whatever happens as this feeling of fear unfolds. And that give yourself the small steps that you need to work through this so that moving forward, you can shift your relationship to anxiety, dread, and fear. So I'll close on this and a couple of reminders to subscribe to this channel if you enjoy this content and you'd like to see more. And as well, if you'd like some personalized support in dealing with stuff like anxiety and fear in your life, sign up for a free mini coaching session, and I'll leave that link below this video. And also join my Facebook group. I have a Facebook group that is free, it's private, and you can join other women like myself who want to talk about issues like this, dealing with people-pleasing, fear, self-doubt, and managing how these experiences show up in our lives and shifting that experience. So I welcome you to join my Facebook group. And as usual, please really, really do take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.